Hello guys, I'm back from another review, and today we talk about whether Deku had the power of the Greek god. So in the last video, Deku, after that whole thing, they were told by Miracle that they're going to be having a sports festival soon. So, after getting ready and training, it's finally the day of the sports festival. So, Izuku is currently at first place until it was the time where they're going to be fighting, where Izuku's going to be fighting Kaminari. So, when they're getting ready to fight, they were interrupted by Odin and his two daughters, Thor and Loki. So let's talk about what happens next. So, Odin says, "Hello, Izuku. It's been a long time. So, how's your, reincarnated life as a human?" Izuku says, "Not bad. Huh. It's been a long time, Odin." As Loki says, "Oh, hey Zuku. So, you're human now. Huh, so, did you find any, information about, Yahweh?" As the heroes basically come down, as they basically see, Odin and the rest of these, winged women in, Viking armor. One of them, being Aizawa, says, "So, who are you? Villains?" As Odin says, "Sorry. I am the leader of of the Norse pantheon. My name is Odin, god of war and trickery." As they say, "What? The gods don't exist." As Odin says, "Oh, really?" He summons out his weapon known as Gungnir, a famous weapon in Norse mythology, that in the legend of Ragnarok, Gungnir is used to basically, kill Fenrir, the daughter or child of of Loki. Even though my Loki is not going to be married yet, I'm maybe going to name one of the children in I'm going to spoil it a little bit. Never mind, I'm not gonna spoil anything. So yeah, so after showing his spear Gungnir to the heroes, they say, "So you're gonna fight?" says one of them, which is Endeavor. As Odin says, "No, I'm gonna show you my true power." As he's basically taps the ground, as several lightning bolts start raining from the sky, as snow starts appearing all around the arena. Everybody is terrified. As for Izuku, one of them being Miracle says, "What do you mean well by this information about this Yahweh guy?" As Izuku says, "There's no use hiding it anymore." His mother is actually watching it from the TV, as Izuku basically tells everybody who he truly is. Izuku says, "I'm the reincarnation of the god known as Nightmare, but not only that, I'm also the son of in my reincarnated life, or at least back when it was still like a god, I was the son of Hades and Persephone, but was killed by the leader of the Christian pantheon, Yahweh." As they were well well in shock. One of them, Mako, says, "What? He's a god, so I've been bullying a god." As he starts thinking about it, as he says, "No, if I've been bullying a god, that means if he was to transform me into a god, he would." He starts getting afraid. As Izuku says, "I guess I'll just, well, I'll." Izuku sighs. As Kaminari says, "Yeah, I'm not really human either. I'm the god, Susanoo." As one of them being, wait for a second. Nejiri says this, "So, Izuku's actually a god, or at least a reincarnation of a god. Interesting." And not only that, he's also friends with one of our gods, or kami. Interesting. As Kaminari transforms into his more god, everybody's in shock. Some of the villains that are watching this, even though the League of Villains don't exist in this world, one of them being, well, a kid by the name of Dobby, which Dobby is a, well, living a really horrible life. Wait for a second. Dobby lived a horrible life because, well, he was, well, abused by Endeavor after all. But when he saw that Izuku is a god, he was interested. Because, well, he's a leader of a gang. A gang that specializes in, well, they specialize in giving, well, goods. Especially for, well, this is going to be a little bit, well, it's going to be a little bit sensitive, so if you want to skip it, then skip it immediately. Well, this gang specializes in human trafficking. So, if Dabi were to, well, sell Izuku off to somebody, it would make a fortune. Because, well, he is a, well, the son of a, or at least, like, well, the reincarnation of a god. So, yeah, back to Izuku's perspective. Well, Jiro was in shock that his friends, including her, well, childhood crush, being Izuku, is actually the reincarnation of a god. But not only that, the god of the underworld and the queen of the underworld. So, and for, well, Momo was in shock as well. She's being by a god, a reincarnation of a god. So, so back to Izuku's perspective. Izuku is basically looked at, well, every single, well, person in the stadium. One of them said this: so you're in the reincarnation of a god. So what? You still are human. Yeah. I mean, it's so cool that you're actually a reincarnation of a god. As for basically everybody, they basically start talking to Izuku. If he were to be a normal person, not the reincarnation of a god, he felt happier knowing that these normal people, or at least normal enough that they have, like, well, normal enough that they are humanish instead of like monstrous, like, well, per se, like Froppy. I mean, Froppy still looks human, but, well, her long tongue and her, like, mannerisms. So anyway, so, well, one person said this, and it was Thor. She says, so, Izuku, I wanted to say something. Izuku says, what is it, Thor? As she starts bringing out her hammer, creating lightning. As she says, time for payback. As Izuku says, oh no, 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 no. As she says, that's for taking my virgin. As Izuku basically starts running away. As some of the crowd is basically saying, what? As one of his classmates, being, well, Jiro, says this: wait, steal your virginity. She realizes that Izuku's past life, well, he's not a virgin. So that literally means that, well, in his new life, well, he's not a virgin. So yeah, she says, wait, Izuku's not a virgin. She basically, well, how do I say it? Starts blushing a lot. As for Loki, she says, oh my god, sister, you seriously need to stop trying to, well, try not to, well, kill, well, Nightmare. As she says, I don't care. He's the one who ruined my life. As Izuku says, I said I was sorry. I mean, we were drunk at the time. As White says, wait, drunk at the time. As Odin basically teleports to him, as he says, yeah, there was a, an incident where they drank too much wine and they partied so hard that they, had a had a lot of fun. I can just call it that. As All Might says, okay. So, when the news got out that, gods actually existed, well, several, and I mean several, religions basically start, worshipping them, pretty much harder. But the Christian pantheon, as in Christian pantheon, I mean the people that basically, I'm, I'm not literally going to bash on like Christians like that. I am a Christian after all. I mean, I worship like God, but I don't really believe in him all that much. But um, I'm still allowed to basically, tell jokes about that. So yeah, I am a Christian, or at least my family's Christian, but I don't really believe in God. Anyway, so the Christian, the people that basically worship Yahweh, they're basically in shock that this kid with the reincarnation of a god basically told every single one of these well every single news broadcast that Yahweh, basically the leader of this, the leader of the Christian pantheon, or known as the, God, or the one true God, quote unquote, well actually killed them and actually was a bad person. well Several communities basically shunned them, but one person at Izuku's school, when she, well, saw Izuku differently, she became a little bit mad. And that girl was Ibarra. Ibarra, if you don't know, she's like a worshiper of, which is, just Christianity, in fact. Especially with her attacks, like crucifixion, I think, was one of her attacks. I can't remember. So, she basically comes up to Izuku, basically running at him, and basically just slapping him right in the face, as she says, "So, you consider my god as a monster when your gods are nothing more than monsters?" Izuku says, "At least your god didn't literally killed half of the other pantheons." As they basically say, "What?" Several news well basically every single camera starts basically starts facing at Izuku. Izuku says basically the story about the whole well the War of the Gods story where Izuku participated and basically fight against Yahweh, and the other pantheons are basically fighting against him because he wanted to destroy every single pantheon because he believed that he was the only god. Like he wants to become the god of gods, like similar to the Titans, but much more stronger and more of a dictator than anything else. Well, everybody's in shock that that well this that Christianity was actually bad. I mean, I'm not really saying that Christianity is bad, but they did some questionable things back in the day, like for example well it's like literally just destroying the like the whole image of well the Norse mythology, especially because of Loki. Do you know why? Time when they describe Loki in, what is that called, that book, they prefer to call him by a, what's that called again, by the epithet known as the serpent, which doesn't make sense, which I don't know why they picked serpent. I mean, they associate, the devil with the serpent, but why Loki? And you're just going to say in the comments, well, you think that Loki is basically um, the devil equivalent, but in actuality, he's actually a nice person. He's more like a Looney Tunes type of villain. Like, he would always, basically, well, how do I say it? It's basically like a Looney Tunes type show, like basically like a Looney Tunes type situation. But and also some Christian literature when they're talking about Loki, some Christian like text talk about Loki being like a Jesus figure, and I'm not lying. That's actually a real thing. So after that rant, they basically after Izuku basically told everybody about that whole like story, they basically worship like Yahweh, and Yahweh, which Yahweh is basically working with all for one, as in working. I mean, basically just captured them and took over his like organization. He basically hears about this and he's enraged as he says, "You nightmare! I will make you pay for that." So yeah. So after the whole thing about after that whole story, it's basically the end of the day where everybody starts leaving with a brand new light, a appreciation to other gods, except for the Christian pantheon. Anyway, they basically learn now that actual gods exist. For Nezu brought Izuku, Odin, and his two daughters to the principal's office, and some other people also arrived there as well, including all of the top 10 heroes of like Japan, the UA teachers, and some government officials. As they say, so actual God exists. I meant actual gods exist in this world. As Zuko says, yeah, I'm just a reincarnation of one of the gods. My original family was well, I'm actually the reincarnation of the son of Hades and Persephone, but I was killed by Yahweh. As they say, so Yahweh, the leader of the Christian pantheon, I believe, says Nezu. As Suzuki says, yes, I'm gonna make him pay. And I also want to, absorb his ambrosia. As they say ambrosia, Izuku says, yeah, when I absorb it, I'm going to become a god again. So, I want to defeat him so I can stop his reign of terror once and for all. As they say, help you, says one of the government officials. As All Might says, yes, young boy, we will help you in your journey. As for Nezu, he says this to, Odin. Hey, Mr. Odin, or what I should call you then? As he says, just call me Odin. As Izuku says, Izuku, I meant Nezu says, oh, okay. So, Mr. Odin, may I ask this? Would your daughters will be okay if, they join UA? As he says, interesting. Sure. As for, Loki, she says, yay, I can't wait to basically, basically stay with Izuku again. Just like old times. As for, Thor, she basically says, whatever, I won't even enjoy it just because it's a human school. Humans are beneath us. And yeah, I'm gonna make Thor basically like the tsundere type, basically like my whole female Bakugo thing. Oh, okay, then says Nezu. As Nezu says, alright, so Mr. Izuku, or should I say Nightmare? I don't know what to call you anymore because, you're literally the reincarnation of a god. Izuku says, just call me Izuku. As he says, okay, your friends, um, Thor and Loki, they're gonna be roomies. As Izuku says, wait, what? As he says, yep, I'm gonna be, getting them brand new beds. as Izuku says. God dang it. So yeah. So after that whole thing, Izuku gone back to the dorms, but nobody was there yet. So Izuku goes back to his bed alone as Izuku goes to sleep. So yeah. So I hope you liked the video. Comment and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye.